Good evening and welcome everybody to another NGS Division E matchup. Tonight we have Bull Moose Party versus the Icecrown Citadel Knights. Unfortunately, I picked this matchup on Monday thinking that Icecrown Citadel Knights, they had a couple games ahead of them that they could have made it, had a few battles to make it to the playoffs, but unfortunately they lost last night, so I think it's slim. Maybe there's a slim chance they could still get in playoffs, but I know they need two dominations to do it. Bull Moose Party, they are right now, I believe, in that eighth seed, looking to get up and get into a hopefully a better seed. Bull Moose Party, they're sitting on a 3-6 record right now, so this will be their last match of the regular season. Icecrown Citadel Knights, they're at 2-6, so they have one tonight, and then I believe they have one Sunday against the Devil's Rejects. So I think with those two dominations, maybe there's some math that can get them into the playoffs. I'm not entirely sure, since they did end up dropping the series last night, but we'll see. Regardless, we got some great games of heroes coming your way. Let me get you guys over to the maps real quick. So we are in the map screen. The coin toss was won by the Icecrown Citadel Knights, and they elected to pick the first pick of the series. So they wanted first pick, giving map priority over to Bull Moose Party. Bull Moose Party elected to ban Tomb of the Spider Queen and Towers of Doom. The Icecrown Citadel Knights banned Hanamura, and they banned Braxis Holdout, and the map choice by Bull Moose Party went to Infernal Shrines. So first map we're going to have on Infernal Shrines. Big map, nice 3-lane map. Kind of one of the more standard classic maps that you typically see in Heroes. Usually in every series there's an Infernal Shrines or close to an Infernal Shrines. I haven't really had a lot of chances to cast it, unfortunately. Everybody's been playing like Hanamura and Towers of Doom, which I like those maps too. But I'm excited for an Infernal Shrines matchup tonight. Both these teams, I've had the opportunity to cast Icecrown Citadel Knights once before. I know that they play a pretty good macro game. The team fighting, if they're on, they're on. It just depends on their communication and their shot calling. So it'll be interesting to see which team shows up tonight. For the Bull Moose Party, I haven't had a chance to cast them yet, so I'm excited. Let me just let everybody know that I am ready in the lobby real quick, and then once we get heading over to the draft screen, then we'll be good to go. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a good series between these two teams. Hoping it goes all the way to Game 3. We'll see. Game 3 unfortunately would hurt Icecrown Citadel Knights, but it's always fun to see a series go to 3 games, and I expect them to be able to put up a pretty good fight in this series. Coming off of a loss last night, it'd be good to rebound and get a win. So right now we're just waiting to get into the draft screen. Once we get in there, I'll make sure I flip it over for you guys so we can see the game. But as far as hero choices, I don't know a lot about. I know the Icecrown Citadel Knights, they do play Johanna. They do play, I think it was Raynor quite a bit. Oh, we're getting into draft. All right. Getting into the draft screen. So I do know that they play Raynor. Bull Moose Party, I don't know what to expect out of them yet, so we'll see what the draft pick and bans. But for Infernal Shrines, I'm gonna talk more about the map. It's not a bad idea to ban like your Diva, who can create a lot of chaos over the objective fight. A May ban may come in here as well. Gazlo was a strong pick, although now he's seen some recent nerfs with the most recent patch. And it is important to note Kerrigan is now available as a pick for both teams. The Kerrigan did not used to be an option due to a bug that she was having on one of her talents, but that is no longer the case. She is available, so we may finally get to see a Kerrigan. Those teams that have been waiting to bring out Kerrigan, we might get to finally see a Kerrigan come out tonight. Icecrown Citadel Knights, they're waiting the whole night, the whole 60 seconds, and they do ban the Gazlo. So the Gazlo, even though he got quite a good sized nerf to him, still getting the respect nod, as you know, we've been planning around not playing around a Gazlo, or if they don't play a Gazlo themselves, and so they just elected to get rid of the Gazlo. Anduin banned on the side of Bull Moose Party. and doing one of those stronger healers. He's got the ability to get one of his teammates out of a dire situation. Also, the engage potential with that light bomb. So he's become one of the more favorite supports, the higher tier supports as of recently, especially in Division E that I've been able to cast. Kel'Thuzad coming out banned. Okay, I don't typically see many Kel'Thuzad bans, especially in Division E. Kel'Thuzad is very skill shot dependent, but if somebody is, I'm guessing that's more of just a respect ban. Somebody on Bullmoose Party plays a very strong Kel'Thuzad. So the Icecrown Citadel Knights are just like, we don't want to deal with Kel'Thuzad. We're going to get rid of that guy right out of the bat. Kel'Thuzad does have a lot of potential to create a lot of damage really quickly once he's get that talent finished, the quest finished. Then he's able to pump out some serious damage. So getting rid of that. And ETC ban, again, most of these are standard bans that we're seeing coming out here for the meta right now. ETC the ETC Anduin combo alone is very strong. So both of those options just getting eliminated by Bullmoose Party. But the light bomb into the Mosh, very strong. And the Johanna, like I was mentioning earlier, I knew they played the Johanna and they pick up Johanna right away, first pick. Johanna, very strong early and mid game champion, has the ability to bully the opponents while also creating a little bit of a safety net for, a front line for her team. Transitions really well into that Blessed Shield that comes out later, so good pick. We see Zool and Uther getting picked up on the side of Bullmoose Party. Zool does very well on this map with the ability to create pressure if their objective is to not fight over the objective. Zool is able to, with his skeletons, create a lot of map pressure on the opposite side of the map where the objective is. So he can also go to the team fight. We may see Zool rotate up if they're in an advantageous situation, but if they're not and they elect not to go for that first shrine, the Zool will probably just try to create pressure on the opposite side of the map. D.Va picked up here. D.Va, like I mentioned when the draft was starting, very strong champion for the peel potential, the zoning potential with her mech bomb. So, and D.Va's in a pretty good spot. She got a little bit of nerf to one of her talents. Her level, I believe it's her level 4 talent. She doesn't do as much damage when she jetpacks into a team, but ultimately, D.Va's still in a pretty good spot. So, and then Deckard's a fantastic support hero when he has the potential to set up a fight over an objective, which you have the time to set up on this map. He has great CC utility, so a good combination to help like lock everybody down with a stay a while and listen while D.Va sets off her bomb. So good combo coming out there. We see a Li Ming ban on the side of Bullmoose Party. Strong mage champion, has a lot of burst damage, gets the resets. It's never a bad idea to ban a Li Ming. And Mei coming out as a ban on the side of Bullmoose Party. Mei is a very good engage potential, especially if she goes Snowball, is able to get a target back to our team with the Uther follow-up potential that the Uther could lock down with like a Divine Storm as well. That would be a very nasty combination if the Uther is in good enough positioning to follow up and chain that crowd control. That'd be a lot of lockdown for however many targets Mei could land in that snowball. So a solid ban from the Mei. We're seeing the Chromie and the Maiev. So Chromie, very good champion, very good mage, safe mage to poke from range. If she positions well, the only person that's really going to be able to lock her down is Johanna with a Blessed Shield, but Chromie should be able to stay away. Sands of Time or Temporal Loop, don't know which one she's going to go here with the rest of the comp, but Chromie is going to be able to put out a lot of damage over those objective fights. Maiev, I like the Maiev pick. I would have liked to see maybe a better champion than Chromie pair with the Maiev, but Maiev is still a strong champion to isolate out a single target, so maybe the Maiev is going to try, that's going to be a temporal loop Chromie with like a Q build, and Maiev is going to try and pick out a target for Chromie to blow up with the Uther lockdown on top of it. Kier and Asmodan on the side of Icecrown Citadel Knights. Okay, so that's an interesting pickup for both of those champions. Asmodan being able to create some global pressure, some more split push pressure, maybe to match the Zool, maybe to do the same thing the Zool's doing if they elect not to fight over the objective. And then Kira is a good bully, will be able to put out some serious damage on the backline if she can get there. And then Anubarak picked out as well. Anubarak has great engage, great disengage, great potential to lock down and chain CC over one specific target, mainly looking at the Kira or the Deckard here. So it'll be interesting to see which team is able to execute their comp a little bit better. Let me get you over to the actual game screen and we'll get started. So out of the comps, I like both team comps. I think right now, if the Chromie and the Maev can work together really well, I do like Bull Moose Party's comp a little bit better. If the on the other side, if the Deckard and Diva can land the Stay a While and the Mech Bomb combo as well, then I like it on both sides. So it'll be interesting to see which team can execute their combinations a little bit better. So let's go ahead and get in, introduce the teams. On blue side, we got Bull Moose Party, we got Night Knight on that Uther, we got Sugarman on the Nubarak, Toast Monster on the Chromie, Iggy68 sitting on that Maev, and we got Winter Rose up on the Zool. On the side of Icecrown Citadel Knights, we've got Hazard sitting on the Decker K, Lunchbox on the Asmodan, Shimboku sitting on the Johanna, the Lich Queen on the Diva, and Emberglow sitting on that Kira. Putting out the Deckard spray, liking it. So initially, at the beginning, there may be a little bit of scrapping going on if the Nubarak can find a little bit of a target. Asmodan going for that Gluttony, so he is going to be able to put down quick additional Globes of Annihilation. He'll be able to spam them a little more than if he was going for like a more powerful Gluttony, more for the damage. Chromie electing to go for Deep Breathing for the W build. So Chromie's going to go for that W build. She will be able to put down burst damage if she can land the combo. But she's not going to elect to go for that Q build for that single target, as much single target burst that we usually see out of a Chromie. But both teams just electing to kind of throw a couple hits back and forth and then rotate down to the bottom lane. And this is mostly what we're going to see. We're going to see these two teams rotating between mid-bot lane, fighting over the camps. And Nubarak does dive in, knocks up the Asmodan. Asmodan getting down to about half health, pulled back by the Maev. He's getting awfully low. Should be able to just waddle away here a little bit. And he does. Maev does go in and try and follow up on that kill. And he pushes the Asmodan away, but the Asmodan is able to get away safely. Looks like the sides of the Bull Moose Party, they're going to try and double soak with that Zool. At least that Zool did come down. So we'll keep an eye on that, see if that Zool. Zool does have the potential to double soak fairly well. It's harder because there's a shorter distance between that mid and bot lane, so the Zool could get collapsed upon rather quickly if the Icecrown Citadel Knights are watching it. But so you typically don't see that double soak, but you know, the Zool is a very powerful pusher, so we'll keep an eye on the Zool to see if he's able to create some pressure. That will allow them to create some more pressure in this bot lane as well. Right now, both teams just electing to farm up some of their waves. Asmodan already up to 39 stacks, so Asmodan's doing a pretty good job getting the stacks coming up. Chromie's at 7, so Chromie's a little behind where I like to see her right now, but there hasn't been as much fighting. So the Chromie's not had the chance to get as many W's down. I don't expect it to take very long for either of these two to be able to get it. We do see Bull Moose Party down here getting this bottom siege camp, which is the one that's usually highly contested over between the two teams. They shouldn't have a problem as long as the Chromie's able to keep them away, and they do. They're able to capture it. So that's going to be a little XP going over to Bull Moose Party in addition. Kira getting stunned out by the Uther here, but not too much. Nubarak just wasn't able to follow up right away. Ended up landing the barbs a little late, so Kira just kind of walks away. Both teams should now go to respectively doing their camps. Looks like the Icecrown Citadel Knights have already started it up over here, and Bull Moose Party have responded as well. But we do see that this first shrine this Mortar Shrine is coming up on the middle of the map. So it is going to be one of those better ones to fight over at the beginning. It is in a position where it's harder to split push if you're going for the split push, so I expect both teams to fight over this one. If it had been on the top or the bottom, maybe we'd have seen one of the teams elect to go for that split pushing, adding pressure and giving up the first shrine. But since it's in the middle, both teams are probably going to come fight. I did expect both teams to go pick up their siege camp, but both siege camps are being just ignored by each team. Each team's electing to just get some more pressure in their lanes, with Bull Moose Party getting mid and the Icecrown Citadel Knights adding a little pressure bottom. They do have to go up, and they have to manage with this siege camp before they go fight over the objective. Looks like Bull Moose Party's taking that opportunity to go get their siege camp now. A little late, but ultimately it will still get the pressure out there as long as they don't lose too much of this farm mid, which it looks like the Icecrown Citadel Knights are already going to start up and getting summoned. The Asmodan will be able to clear quite a few, so that's the advantage that they have. They can kind of sit back and let Asmodan just throw some out as long as there's not too big of a fight. But Gage going, Diva getting low to about half health. She does have the mech bomb available, so if she decides to pull, she gets pulled in. She does activate that mech bomb, so that mech is going to do some serious damage onto that Nubarak. He's getting down to about an 8th HP. Johanna does land the condemn. Follow-up from the Diva isn't enough, and the Nubarak is able to get away. Good Chromie W, able to spread some damage amongst the entire side of Icecrown Citadel Knights. So Chromie is able to get some serious damage down. The quest isn't completed yet. It should on her next W be completed. Anubrak does like to go back in. Johanna lands a 3-man condemn, and Chromie does finish up that quest. So Chromie will now be able to start putting out W's a little bit faster and a little more damage. Side of Icecrown Citadel Knights are fairly healthy. They're bullying Bull Moose Party. There's only 3 off. The Shimboku sitting right in the middle on that Johanna. Pops the Unstoppable. The the Immortal eventually goes over to the Bull Moose Party, but the Icecrown Citadel Knights are trying to push up. Surprisingly enough, nobody died through that entire fight. There was a lot of dueling back and forth, Diva popping her mech and everything, but nobody did die. So, very well controlled by both teams. Bull Moose Party just came out a little bit ahead. Chromie was able to finish her W build, and is now just harassing with this mech. The rest of the Bull Moose Party, they did get fairly low, so they're not going to be able to push as heavily with this Immortal as they wanted due to being so low at the end of that fight. So the Immortal just does go down, gets the wall about a fifth of the tower, but that's all it's able to do. They elect to just go up. The Zool was able to create some pressure in this bot lane, get some soak going on. So they will get a little bit of an experience lead out of that, but ultimately no real map pressure coming out of it. They weren't able to get a fort or a tower. The Icecrown Citadel Knight Shimboku was rotating down, did get caught out a little bit by the Nubarak. Unfortunately, there's just no damage to follow up, so walks away, just doing Johanna things. Going in, landing a 3-man condemn onto the entire team. Getting knocked up by the Nubarak. Maev looking like she might want to swap. She doesn't land any of the chains and just decides to walk away. Kira, nice jump to cancel out the Kira Q, and the teams are just kind of doing, like I said, a little bit of skirmishing back and forth. Uther did go up mid lane and push out that mid lane, so, healer split push OP. The Uther was able to get some pressure and just increase that experience a little bit, and Shimboku getting very low on the Johanna. It doesn't necessarily have the Iron Skin up yet. It's getting down to about 100 health and does eventually get out. Finally, we have first blood of the game at 6 minutes. Don't typically see it take that long to get there, but first blood going over to Bull Moose Party, and now they are able to time that well with their opponent's camp and take over the opponent's camp. And now they will start growing that experience lead just a little bit. As we see, it's about a half level right now. So the Zool's still doing double soaking. Diva's trying to match it, but Diva won't be able to push out near as fast as the Zool. Bull Moose Party is going down. Chromie did go for that slowing sands, so she is going for more of the crowd control heavy build than the temporal loop, which I expected since she didn't go for that Q build. The slowing sands is a little bit better with that. Maev did go for the Warden's Cage, so she's going to try and trap everybody around so that Chromie can get some damage down instead of going for the Crystal. I like it as long as the Chromie is able to chain off of it. The Nubarak electing to go for that Locust Swarm, so more tanky rather than the Cocoon. Don't typically see it. Especially, the most curious part is they don't have great burn on the side of the Cocoon for the Icecrown Citadel Knights. They have decent burn. It's not great. So if they were able to pick like that 4v5, which, with the Maev and the Chromie, they're looking to get those picks, being able to Cocoon a target down and get that pick, I would have expected to see. But he will be tankier. It does go with his level 1 talent where he elected to go with that Regeneration Master. So he will be a very, very tanky Nubarak late into this game and be very, very difficult to kill on his side, making him a stronger frontliner, which makes me think that they're going to try and use this Zool as much as they can for split pushing instead of joining in the team fights. Bull Moose Party going to go, and they're going to go ahead and start picking up their siege camp. They're picking it up better timing this time, so they will have it, and it will be pressuring right as this shrine does come up. But the Icecrown Citadel Knights, they don't go for their siege camp again. They just go to clear out this bot lane. They look like they're wanting to get a little bit earlier start on this shrine so that they can start creating some pressure on the bottom side of the map. They are starting out. Johanna is getting caught out by the Nubarak. The Deckard route does go down, but all 4 members are here. The Stay a While does go down, but Diva's not here to follow up on it. So it's a 5v4 situation right now. Divine Storm, Warden's Cage going down. Zool doing massive amounts of damage. Diva throwing in her bomb, but it's a little late. There's no all team members can just walk away, and the Icecrown Citadel Knights from the Zool damage just get down to very low health. The Nubarak does engage onto the Diva, getting her about half health. The Johanna has to just walk away, and the top minion camp is just going to be able to create a lot of pressure here. They need to go respond to that. Considering that they're a member down, this is probably already lost on the side of Icecrown Citadel Knights. They need to go stop that top pressure, otherwise they're going to be getting pressed into 2 different lanes. But it looks like they're electing to just hang around, just kind of poke around, wasting a little bit of time here. I don't think they realistically could have contested over this Frost Punisher, and the Frozen Punisher isn't one of the, it's the least threatening of the three. Unfortunately, there's no wall here, so he is going to be able to just turn off that turret and that tower. Johanna does go in, pops the Unstoppable, and just trying to create as much damage for the team as they can. Maev does end up landing onto the Anubarak and getting this Johanna down to about a quarter HP. Nice 4-man stun coming out there. That was a fantastic stun. Unfortunately, the damage just wasn't able there. Decker does land a 3-man stay a while and listen. But again, the follow-up damage with the Kira being down just unfortunately isn't there, so it's just going to delay the push. Johanna does get the Immortal to pop over the wall, so they should be able to clear out this Immortal pretty quickly with the Asmodan in the back. The Asmodan is still, it's important to note, he's still doing a fairly good job keeping the stack. Ooh, Johanna getting low. She did get stunned out and caught without the Unstoppable, so she is going to go down. This Immortal's still fairly healthy, so the Bulmus party, oh, Asmodan getting caught as well. Nubarak getting nice follow-up engage on that. That's an Asmodan going down, and this keep is now going to go down from the Frozen Punisher because the Punisher's just going to turn it off. And this is a massive push for the Bull Moose party. Just a couple of small staggering mistakes. Decker getting caught out. Warden's Cage does go down, knocking the Decker down. Decker's going to get crowd control, and he's going to die. The Portal is still pretty healthy. I don't think this is game because the cooldown, the timers are so short, but it looks like they're going to try to end it here. Core's already about half health. Kier does end up going down. 4 members are stunned out on the side of the Bull Moose party. The Lich Queen does go down. Maev is getting low. Nubrak is getting fairly low as well. Chromie's trying to just heroically end this game with the core, but I don't think she's going to be able to. And, you know, it was a little bit too long, but still, that's going to be a core sitting at 15% HP for the rest of the game. Any pressure in the bot lane that's going to start pushing, the Icecrown Citadel Knights are going to have to respond to it. They can't take 15%, you know, allow one siege minion to come through. And that's going to be constant siege minion damage in the bot lane. So they can't allow any of that pressure to come through, or it will just kill the core outright, being at 15%. So they're going to have to keep an eye on it. The Bull Moose party, that was a fantastic push with the second Punisher, you know, realizing that they had the advantage. They were continuing to stagger the side of Icecrown Citadel Knights and were able to just take that Punisher from what looked like it was ultimately just going to be potentially one fort to taking the fort to keep and 85% of the entire core. So the Bull Moose party, they just need to be able to, you know, continue creating their map pressure. This next Shrine is going to be over the top lane. It's going to be an Arcane Punisher, one of the more damaging ones. D.Va does create some pressure over, tried to, you know, just stall and get her own camp. Delaying time. Hecker does land a nice 4-man ult. Kira's landing some serious damage down to this. They've got the damage down, and that's a kill going down onto the Zool. Nice Divine Shield by the Uther, being able to get all 4 members stunned, and that's a D.Va going down. Kira is getting fairly low as well. They're still fighting exactly over this point. Asmodan getting fairly low. If he could stay alive, he could get the damage down, but he's unfortunately not able to. That's 3 kills going over to the sides of the Bull Moose party. 4, and the Kira should go down as well, and Bull Moose party is able to take this camp. It was a very heroic last stand by the Icecrown Citadel Knights. I like that they committed to the fight as 5. They looked like they possibly could have won that there, but this should be, with it only being 15% like we mentioned earlier, and a 5-man wipe. This is GG's already coming out in chat. And game 1 is going to go over to the Bull Moose party on Infernal Shrines. Not, you know, I've said it in my last stream, and I'll say it again tonight. This is another game where it looked like it was slow. Every team was kind of just taking their time, and then all of a sudden we went from 0 to 60 just like that. And you know, one Arcane Punisher pushing all the way down. Suddenly, this game just took off and was done before I even expected to. I was expecting to go for at least another 10 minutes. I was setting up for a long Infernal Shrines game, but you know, again, Bull Moose party executing fairly well, being able to get the damage onto that keep that, you know, I wasn't expecting them to pick up that keep at all, and they were able to just continue to snowball that Frozen Punisher all the way to the victory. Looking at the stats real quick, you know, we see the Chromie. Chromie was able to put out, you know, if the game had continued to go on, Chromie would have put out a lot of damage. She was only able to put out 36. I say only because this was only, I think it was like a 12 or 13, ended up being a 12 or 13 minute game, somewhere in that ballpark. But the Asmodan was getting stacked. The Asmodan was doing their job, so the Asmodan was playing that game fairly well. The Deckard was landing fantastic stay a whiles and listens, and Johanna was being able to hit those 3 or 4 man condemns. But like I said, it just wasn't all together at the same time, and they just didn't have the damage without Diva's bomb to be able to follow up. Asmo later in the game, Asmo would have had enough damage that he could have done a lot of damage in those combos that they were landing, but early with the Asmo and the Kira, it's just not enough damage without the Diva to be able to get the kills that they wanted. So maybe they'll look into that and as they adjust into their second series. But and the Zool was able to create that split pressure. We could see the Diva was able to match it pretty well, 11.7 to 11.5 in experience. So Zool was able to ultimately create pressure. He did rotate down to some of those team fights, landing some awesome Novas to be able to just do some massive damage. Ultimately got the second most damage on his team, but yeah, that was, like I said, that was a very interesting game one, going from really just a very slow, methodical game by both sides to a very, very quick end. So let me get you back over to the map screen so we can see what's going on. I'm looking to see if I have any indication from either team. Oh, I did get invited to the lobby, so give me 1 second to see. We're going to end up going to Volskaya Foundry. I'm not sure which team. Let me ask real quick. Which team picked Volskaya Foundry, but we are going to Volskaya Foundry for game 2. But if you look on that, okay, so the Icecrown Citadel Knights elected to pick map, and they picked Volskaya Foundry. So let me update that real quick. So we are going to Volskaya. Icecrown Citadel Knights were the ones who wanted a map. So they elected to go for a map pick, get a map that maybe they're a little more comfortable on, over getting that first pick priority. And I've been seeing that a little more recently with these kinds of series where teams are electing to pick the map over the first pick. As there's a lot of good, strong first pick potentials, they feel that even though they don't get the first pick, they might get the second or the third and get 2 stronger picks when they give over 1. But as far as looking at the pick ban adjustments, I am curious as to if the Icecrown Citadel Knights are going to go for similar bans. And just chalk it up to, we had one bad team fight that we just let them snowball, because it looked like for a big chunk of that early game they were in it. They were sparring back and forth. The first Immortal, they didn't get nobody died. And even though they lost the Immortal, they sent Bull Moose Party packing because they were all very low. So the first Immortal didn't get very much value. So it'll be interesting to see if there's pick ban strategy changes going on. Just kind of waiting in the lobby, seeing when the other 2 teams are also ready here. But I did like what I was saying out of Icecrown Citadel. I think they had a good combo. I think they just need to make 1 or 2 slight adjustments on their damage to get some more consistent damage with that Deckard stay a while, and if they go with the Diva again, making sure Diva is in that team fight when the Deckard is ready to, holding on to that stay a while until Diva is there, and then using that stay a while. So looks like we're getting readies coming out on both sides. At least the Icecrown Citadel Knights are indicating that they're ready. We're waiting to see if Bull Moose Party are ready as well. And we should get started. So those are the adjustments I'd like to see the Icecrown Citadel Knights make in this game. As far as the Bull Moose Party, seeing what adjustments they would like to make, I really don't think they need to make any. They had a little bit better rotations. They're behind on that first siege camp, but they were able to get that second one, and that second one was able to cause pressure in that top lane while they were fighting over that bottom shrine. So I think they could feel confident in, we got a team comp that we like and we executed it well, so we're going to go with something similar in this game and use it. So they may go with the same pick and bans, and they may decide to continue with the similar strategy or the same strategy that they just used and force the Icecrown Citadel Knights to be the ones to adjust to it. Looks like we're getting started. Looks like we're getting into the lobby here. So let me get that over and we will be ready to go on to Volskaya Foundry. So yeah, it's going to be, I expect the Chromie to be another potential pickup here. If the Li Ming isn't banned, the Li Ming could come out as well. As far as the tanks, I expect similar tanks. If the ETC and Anduin combo is something that is feared by the Bull Moose Party, I expect to see it banned again, and we're already seeing the Anduin does come out and end up getting banned. The Icecrown Citadel Knights, if they do adjust, if there was a problem that they ran into, maybe the Zool. The Zool isn't able to provide as much pressure, I don't think, on this map due to the fact that it is a little bit smaller map than Infernal Shrines. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it will come out. That could be a potential area that they do slightly adjust their pick bans. We do see the Gazlo, so they're sticking with the same bans. Gazlo ban coming out, even though the Gazlo is a little bit nerfed. This is a map that he may do a little bit better on, even with the nerf. So Gazlo just getting banned outright. And again, Anduin ETC is going to be the bans for Bull Moose Party. So they just don't want to handle that kind of combination. They're electing to just ban it outright. So will the side of Icecrown Citadel Knights, are they going to go with the same bans, or are they going to change it up a little bit and get rid of that Zool, or possibly even the Chromie and make them do the Li Ming instead? And they do. They decide to go with the Chromie ban. So they're saying the Chromie was able to put out some serious damage, which she did once she got her quest done. She was really popping off. So the Chromie elected to get banned, say, show us a different mage, and Zool immediately picked up by the side of Bull Moose Party. They really like that Zool. He was able to get some pressure down and was able to rotate into the team fights. He's going to have an easier time rotating, so I expect to see the Zool go fairly similar build. Tassadar picked up by the side of Icecrown Citadel Knights. All right, so already I like it. You know, adjusting Tassadar, a lot more early game damage, a lot more burst damage coming out. So if they adjust that Tassadar and Sylvanas, again, more early game damage. Also the Sylvanas, if she stays alive when the Protector is picked up for her team, can create a lot of problems for the opponents. But they didn't ban the Kel'Thuzad, which was the first ban, or the second ban they did in the last one. I was curious about why, and now we do know why. Toastmonster picking up Kel'Thuzad in this game too, so it was a target ban onto the side of Bull Moose Party, and they're going, thank you very much, we like the Kel'Thuzad, we're gonna take it, and they go for the Uther again. So they do have somebody that can lock down targets for Kel'Thuzad, so he can quickly finish his quests faster, having an easier time landing those chains onto whoever Uther decides to stun. And so the Kel'Thuzad coming out, like it. Haven't seen a Kel'Thuzad all season, I don't think. So this will be the first time picking a Kel'Thuzad, and it'll be a treat to see Toastmonster pull him out and see how well he can execute getting that quest done, and then just being able to put down the damage. Deckard picked up, Varian picked up. Okay, so they're going for the Deckard again, but now they have more damage with the stay a while. So they have the Tassadar who could put down a significant amount of damage, and the Sylvanas to help follow up. We don't know if that's going to be an off lane or a main variant. I'm assuming to match the Zool, it's going to be a main tank. I wouldn't put Varian to Zool, because Zool could just out pressure him quickly and has enough shielding potential to be able to sustain against the Varian. So I'm guessing that's going to be a taunt Varian with the 4-man, and they're going to pick their last pick to be the matchup against the Zool here. Anub'arak Maiev again getting picked up, so they like the Maiev, they like the Anub'arak. If they're going with that tanky Anub'arak, I expect them to go the same thing here. The Warden's Cage is going to be a lot more deadly with the Kel'Thuzad than the Chromie. The Kel'Thuzad's going to be able to put massive amounts of damage down in the middle of that Warden's Cage. So I like the Maiev pick. The Isolation also being able to help pull targets back for Kel'Thuzad to land on. And Imperius is going to be that offlane against that Zool. Okay, so again, Imperius isn't going to be able to match up as well against Zool as I expected Diva would, but he will be able to get that Kel'Thuzad. He will be able to dive in if they're able, the Variant's able to get in, get that taunt. Imperius will have that follow-up spear, so if they can get a good pick on the Kel'Thuzad, that's really what they're looking for here. You know, the Zool will be able to put down some damage, but they're pretty much playing their comp around. Can we get that pick that Kel'Thuzad and delete him as quickly as we can? And I think they have a really good comp for it, so we will see if they're able to grab or execute it well again, get that communication down, and be able to dive onto that Kel'Thuzad, get him killed, and then it's a matter of just cleaning up afterwards, as long as they don't lose too much health or commit too hard doing that. With a Deckard, it may be easier to get up with the stay a while and listen, but we'll see. It's going to come down to execution. Otherwise, I still think, you know, I got to give a little respect nod to Bull Moose Party. They wanted the Kel'Thuzad. The Kel'Thuzad was a respect ban, and now we're seeing that it was picked up right away. So if he could play that Kel'Thuzad well, we're gonna see some fireworks coming out of the side of Bull Moose Party. But on the side of Bull Moose Party, we got Toast Monster on the Kel'Thuzad, Night Knight on that Uther, Iggy on the Maiev, Sugarman on the Anubarak, and we got Winter Rose up on the Zool. On the side of the Icecrown Citadel Knights, we got Lunchbox sitting on that Sylvanas, Hazard on the Deckard Cain, Lich Queen on that Imperious, Emberglow on the Tassadar, and Varian, Sharon Boku on Varian, already showing at this bottom lane. Alrighty. So Varian electing to go bottom right away. Zool going top right away. I would anticipate the Zool would eventually rotate bottom. Bottom is where these I usually see the solo lane matchup on this map. Most teams elect the 4-man to rotate between mid and top since there is that protector up there. And you can also get from bot to mid if there's a fight that breaks out with the offlaner real quickly. But Zool electing to be in that top lane. Both teams kind of just, you know, respecting each other right now, not really wanting to commit to too much early fighting. And the Zool, the Varian, they got to rotate down. Bull Moose got to rotate down to stop the Varian push. Thankfully, Varian won't be able to push as fast as the Zool, so Zool's able to push it out. They're just going to go ahead and soak each other's experience. The 4-man does rotate down from Bull Moose Party into that bot lane, and Zool rotates to the mid lane. So interesting rotation patterns coming out from Bull Moose Party. It looks like they want the Zool to try and double soak as much as he can, like they were in the previous game, and the 4-man be able to create some pressure or maybe go get the turret camp as well. So we'll see the side of Bull Moose Party. They're already starting to siege this bottom fort wall up, turret wall up. And the side of the Icecrown Citadel Knights, they're just electing to get some of this double soak and trying to create pressure in these two lanes, try and stay ahead of the Zool. Varian does go in, lands a Toast Monster, but he does not have the taunt, so he's not going to be able to get any real follow-up damage. And we see Bull Moose Party, their strategy was to go create some pressure and go get the opponent's turret camp, and they're picking it up right away. So that's going to be a camp going over to Bull Moose Party. That's going to be experience going over to them, and they're denying it from the sides of Icecrown Citadel Knights. And the Icecrown Citadel Knights, they're just going to rotate with the 4-man between mid and top. So Bull Moose Party doing things a little differently here, but they're creating the pressure that they want to. So Icecrown Citadel Knights, they need to figure out a way to respond to this. Either they need to get somebody rotating down to get these camps, or they need to put some pressure over this camp in the middle since they have the numbers up here, and get some pressure on the map somewhere else. Otherwise, Bull Moose Party is pretty much getting away with just rotating as 4 and letting the Zool double soak. Zool's missing a little bit of soak here, but he should be able to go pick it up, no problem. And the Bull Moose Party is just going to create some pressure. But we got Sylvanas starting to pick up a camp over here, her own siege camp. She's probably going to hold that camp until the first objective comes online. Maybe not. Maybe she'll pick it up right away, and just might be a little early. But we see Bull Moose Party going ahead and starting off this health camp. The Lich Queen down here. The one thing about Imperious, he doesn't split push very well. You can see his damage is just very, very slow. He's not able to clear waves very quickly. And so by being down here and the other team recognizing that Imperious is down here, they're just able to get this camp no problem free. And so that's a lot of double turrets and health camp already going over to the side of Bull Moose Party. They have about a quarter experience lead, so it's not that big of an experience lead, but they have a massive pressure lead as far as this first objective. They're able to get some turrets down and be able to get the damage on. And now they're going to go get their siege camps smartly so. Let Zool clear out the opposing siege camp, and now they'll have pressure in the top lane. So the Icecrown Citadel Knights, they're going to have to go respond to that before they're able to. They're electing to just get as much time onto this objective as they can before the Bull Moose Party comes over and responds to it, which is the appropriate response. They just need to back off of it and go deal with this top lane once they finish off getting, once Bull Moose Party shows up and decides that they want to fight over this objective. Especially since they're down like about a quarter level lead too. They're going to want to wait for their 7s. The 7s just came online on the side of Bull Moose Party. And we do see that they go up and they're starting to clear this camp. So appropriate response, good response by the Icecrown Citadel Knights. Imperious does get caught by the chains. Unfortunately, they do not connect with Sylvanas. So that quest is taking a little bit of time. Kel'Thuzad only at 2 stacks right now due to the fact that they put the 4-man in a different lane than the Kel'Thuzad. So that may have been, the team strategy all along. Is we want to delay the Kel'Thuzad stacks as much as we possibly can. So we're just going to keep the 4-man away from the 4-man of the other team. Varian going in, landing the taunt down onto that Zool, but he's not unfortunately going to have any follow-up, so he's not going to put any damage down, and the Zool just walks away. But you can see one of the towers was already spent, but they're electing to go pick up another tower down here On the opposing team side, the Icecrown Citadel Knights, they know that they're not there. They're trying to figure out. Now they know that they were picking up their own camp. Turret gets put down immediately by the Uther. So this is just going to, again, create more pressure. Double knockup by the Anubrak. Didn't follow up with the E, but the damage is going down onto the Tassadar. Tassadar is getting fairly low. Wall going down. He ends up cutting off his Imperius. Unfortunate there that the Imperius got cut off from the rest of his team. He tried to cut off one member from the Bull Moose party, but unfortunately cut off his own team member. That member went down, and this should be the first objective going over to the Bull Moose party. So now that they got the objective, they do have the Zool. I expect the Zool to go create map pressure while the rest of the team goes ahead and siege up. The Kel'Thuzad will probably not be in the Protector. He wants to get those stacks up as quick as possible. We see he's now up to 5. He's actually going to finish the level 4, the Psycholatry quest sooner than he does his passive quest, which is good. That means he's going to be able to come back onto the map, but he's still got a ways to go as far as stacking up that passive to get the real damage to come online for the Kel'Thuzad. So Protector pushing up here, all 3, the Icecrown Citadel Knights can defend it with 3 and try and get some split push pressure elsewhere. Sylvanas is split pushing bot lane while this is going on. Nice combo by the Kel'Thuzad there. He does get taunted under tower aggro. Does not end up going down. One more tower shot and he would have died, but he was able to get away just by, probably a save by the Uther there as far as the heal. So some good pressure going down from Bull Moose party. They did get that pressure on the top lane. They did get the health fountain in the top lane, which does create some of that pressure for the next objective. The Icecrown Citadel Knights are no longer going to be able to soak or get some of those taps and heal up if they have a bad fight over that top. Varian getting pulled out. The chains do go down. The W ends up missing. The ultimate misses. Warden Cage goes down. So just a little bit of... Oh, Varian does walk back into the Warden's Cage. He gets knocked out. The crowd control is going back down. Planned? Maybe? Trying to bait them in, but it doesn't go anywhere. Both teams just electing to put down some damage. A lot of ultimates popped on the side of Bull Moose party for not there. Just probably a little bit of communication error. They saw the Kel'Thuzad was looking for it. The Maiev was like, okay, I'll try and help you out, but just wasn't all crisp and clean. So we'll see if they can clean that up. I fully expect them to, looking at them playing game 1 and how in sync they were in that first game. So just a slight hiccup there, but in 60 more seconds, they'll have a second shot at it. The Icecrown Citadel Knights are just going to go up and pick up their own Merc camp, try to get some, experience, some more map pressure, doing what they can. I like that they're getting it now, just trying to keep the experience gap there instead of trying to time it with the objective, because they're trying to do what they can to just keep this experience gap as minimal as possible. They go down. Sylvanas does go pick up their own turret camp, so now they've got their side of the map back under their control. So now they can create a little bit of pressure, have some more objectives to fight over. Numerak decides just burrows away. No follow-up by the Varian side. You can go away. I'll fight you another day kind of deal. The rest of the Bull Moose party, they pick up their own siege camp and create some of that pressure. Them responding to the siege camp by trying to keep that experience lead. Right now, the experience lead is about a half a level, I'd say. And you can see it's mostly that difference in XP. There's a bit in the mercenary camps that's going over there, and then the other is just the kills. That seems to be the story right now. Is the kills, which you can see is just 1-0, that first blood experience, and then the mercenary camp where they're able to get that early mercenary camps. They are able to get the opponent's mercenary camps twice, and now it looks like they're putting some pressure. Imperius does go in, lands a nice pale onto the Uther. Stay a while does go down, is landed on Uther. Taunt is followed up on the Uther. That's a lot of resources going to the Uther. Uther's getting low. He's not dropping the health. He finally drops the health as he's dying, so it won't go over to the opposing team. Warden's Cage does go down. Zool popping his ultimate to get some massive damage down to the side. Lich Queen getting pulled back into the Wardens by the Maiev. Taunt going down by the Varian onto the Nubarak, but the Nubarak walks away. So that's a good kill by the sides of the Icecrown Citadel Knights. They are able to get some experience back into their favor, but they do end up losing that bottom tower as well. It was just unfortunate. If they put all that combination onto a more damage dealer, I'm sure it would have just been a pretty one-sided fight, but the Uther was able to tank up a lot of those ultimates. Eventually did go down, was able to pop the health so that he could keep the rest of his team alive. So maybe he popped it a little late. Maybe he was just trying to hold on to it because he didn't think he was going to die. But while the 4-man goes to clear some minion waves, this is more pressure created by Bull Moose party. Icecrown Citadel Knights electing to give up a tower just to clear it. They probably wanted to just send one person up to clear the camp and the rest of them to go defend the tower, but electing to go get the camp, wanted to save this top tower from being destroyed. the fort from being destroyed, excuse me. And so they're just going to try and protect it as best they can so that there's not a siege lane minion that's going to come into this B objective while this B objective is started up. Sylvanas kind of clearing out that mid lane, going to come join the rest of their team. And now that they're on 13 talent tiers are even, this is where the Icecrown Citadel Knights are going to look to try and get a fight in their favor and try and solo a game. Nubarak does do the burrow, but it ultimately misses. Important to note, the Nubarak didn't continue to... Oh, Kel'Thuzad did get caught out there and ends up going down. That burst damage came through on the sides from Tassadar. He does return, and the sides of Icecrown Citadel Knights are getting fairly low. Deckard goes down, as does Tassadar, as does the Imperious. The Zool just able to tank up a lot of damage here, and the Varian looks like he may go down as well. So that ends up being a 4 for 2, but the Kel'Thuzad is able to respawn there and come back to help the rest of his team put out some damage with that global ultimate. And the fight ends up going over to Bull Moose Party. It looked like with them being able to potentially get that pick onto the Kel'Thuzad right away, the Icecrown Citadel Knights may have just been able to pick the fight that they wanted and execute it well. But the Zool, the damage coming out from the Zool can never be underestimated. And he was able to just get 3 or 4 members, since they all grouped up right on that Kel'Thuzad, able to get 3 or 4 members fairly low. And the rest of the Bull Moose Party able to just clean it up with the Maiev. So and the Zool was able to just tank a lot of damage. He is going for that Scythe build, so he is able to stand as long as he stands still and everybody's standing right next to him attacking him. So if they get away from him, you know, if they stay away, then the Zool won't be able to sustain. But if they're all grouped up, like trying to punch him, he's just going to be like, okay, I like this. This is going to allow me to just keep myself healthy. And ultimately, the Zool did not end up going down. So they do get the Protector, and they're now going to push. It looks like they're trying to push mid lane. I expect them to try and get more pressure in the bot lane, get a little more pressure in that bot lane keep, but right now they're electing to go mid lane with it. Nice pull by the Kel'Thuzad, and that is going to be a very, very dead Tassadar. That's the burst that's starting to come out of Kel'Thuzad. He's still not stacked up. He's got at least halfway there, so he does get the Glacial Pillar now, which he was able to pull to. Just doesn't have the massive amount of damage. Warden's Cage does go down. Imperious does land the Impale onto the Maiev, and the Taunt goes down as well. Maiev thankfully was able to just flip herself away, get away, and this keep is going to go down from the Protector. Varian does land the Taunt down onto the Maiev again. Maiev getting very low, almost 20, I believe it was like 25 HP. Stay a While does go out, lands on the Zool. Imperious does follow it up, but there's just no damage behind. All the damage is either trying to go back and heal up or dead. So the Kel'Thuzad able to just turn this around and delete the Imperious right away. And so that's another kill going over to Bull Moose Party. Unfortunate that the damage just wasn't there, because they were landing some good picks on the side of Icecrown Citadel Knights. Just their damage isn't there, so Bull Moose Party able to just smartly assess that and turn it around in their favor and get some more kills to help their lead. Right now, they're down a talent here. They need to defend this well, but try not to be too over-aggressive on a pick. The Maiev is at half health, but Kel'Thuzad just looking to grab a pick there. Lands the combo, but unfortunately that combo misses. Varian does get the follow stun by the Uther, pulled back by the Maiev. Does pop the Protect, so he should be able to just healthfully walk away. Lands a taunt onto the Nubarak. They're just kind of smacking each other in front of their entire teams right now, but nothing really happening as far as the kill. Follow up onto the Varian. Nice. Now the Kel'Thuzad lands the combo. That's some massive damage going down, and 2 more. If Kel'Thuzad lands that one more time, that damage is going to be a lot more, because he will have that quest finished now, sitting on 28 stacks out of 30. So if the Kel'Thuzad is able to get those last 2 stacks, that combo, that 3-man combo he just landed, will be devastating for the Icecrown Citadel Knights. So now the Kel'Thuzad is really going to start coming online, gonna start to be a really big factor. If he wasn't already, now he's just going to be even more of a factor, creating a lot of damage on that side. And it looks like they're just going to try and make a play over this camp. 16s are online for the Icecrown Citadel Knights, but they have to be careful. The Kel'Thuzad is in a fairly safe position. They smartly just elect to give it up, but Varian a little overextended. Kel'Thuzad does land some of that damage, able to finish his quest. Stay a While does go down onto the Nubarak. The Nubarak is getting fairly low, does go down, but the Zool does land that ultimate, and 3 members of the Icecrown Citadel Knights end up going down. That damage from the Zool and then the follow-up by the Maiev landing the tethers and pulling him back into the team. It's just a massive amount of damage that they're able to put out between those 2 characters. And that's a 4-for-1 trade. And the tankiness from that Locust Swarm trait that we're seeing the Nubarak favor over the Cocoon is starting to show its value here, with him being able to take just a massive amount of abuse. And this should be a second keep going over to the side of the Bull Moose party. I, again, do not believe they can end here. I think it would be smart just to back off, paint this map blue, get their 20s online, get that protector in the bottom, and then just use that to end. But it looks like they are just going to try and create some more map pressure here, get that soak. They did get 20. Zul's going to go up. He's going to start that Merc camp. We do see pretty standard pickups here. Divine Protection does go down onto the Uther, so he's going to just cause one of his team to have a lot more armor, and they're going to be able to take a lot more damage from that Tassadar, from that Sylvanas, and not melt nearly as quickly, especially that Nubrak. That Nubrak's going to be super tanky now. Pretty standard pickups for the rest of the team. Zul going for extra Nova damage. Kel'Thuzad just continuing to snowball that ultimate. He's going to be able to drop 2 of them if they hit, which is going to put out even more damage as he's able to land these combinations. So the side of Icecrown Citadel Knights, it's looking pretty grim for them. I don't believe there's any way for them to get the experience to fight. This is pretty much they have to fight over this objective, down a talent trait, and just find a really good engage. It's pretty much do or die situation for them on this objective fight. They're looking right now to just kind of group up, get as much soak as they can. But if this protector does go over to the side of Bull Moose Party, it will end up being game over. That protector will just cause so much damage onto the core, barring any massive miscommunications or throws. But it looks like the Icecrown Citadel Knights, they are just going to try and soak up as much as they can, try to get to an even talent here. Maybe they're looking to try and get enough soak for that level 20. They're going to try and get this camp to get some experience, but the Icecrown Bull Moose Party, they're having none of that. They saw the camp come up, they want to go take it themselves, and they should probably in this situation leave one person to continue channeling, but they elect to bring the whole team here. So that will delay the timer. Warden's Cage is actually going off, doesn't land on the Varian. The Kel'Thuzad was also missing the chain, so just a little bit of time wasting here on the side of Bull Moose Party. Like I said, I expected them to just leave one member on this and continue channeling it up as it had been finished by now. Giving a little more time over to the side of Icecrown Citadel Knights to get that experience, maybe get their 20s online and do a fight when they're on even talent tiers. But they do go back. They do start to channel this again as 5. And Icecrown Citadel Knights, they're looking like, yep, we're just not going to have enough time to get the experience. They're starting to sniff around this objective. It's getting fairly low, so I don't think they're going to go pick it now. It looks like they're going to go and try and get that 20, but I still don't know if there's enough experience in the lane since all the map objectives are taken to get those level 20s. So they're going to have to now defend a talent tier down against a protector instead of trying to just pick a fight with on the objective with that do or die situation. So we'll see how they can defend. It's not necessarily over, but this protector is going to be able to pump out a massive amount of damage. I don't expect both Zul and a Nubrak to stay in there. I expect the Zul to eventually drop out. Yep, there he comes out. I was going to expect him to drop out and be able to just cause more pressure with that ultimate to ward them off the protector, because the protector can do most of the core damage himself. The rest of the members just got to protect the protector. But Zul jumps back in, putting down some damage. Maybe he's just going to be hopping in and out, but as you can see, this core is already at half health. It's going down fairly quickly. The protector is still very healthy, and so this is going to be game 2 going over to the side of Bull Moose Party. GG's coming out in chat. Alrighty, so quick series, quick 2-0 sides of the Bull Moose Party. Icecrown Citadel Knights, they put up a fight in that game 1, at least for the first 10 minutes in that game 1. They were looking pretty competitive. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out for them with that second Immortal. And then, the game 2, I think they had a plan. If it was stay away from the Kel'Thuzad, it was working out well for them, but they just, that one fight up over that B objective where it looked like it was turnaround moment. They were on even talent tiers at 13. And they were trying to pick that fight, and they got the initial kill on the Kel'Thuzad. I think that was their moment that they could have potentially come back in, but the Zul just came out big in that fight and was able to tank up a lot of damage, put down that Nova to cause a massive amount of damage on the opposing side, and ultimately turn that fight back around in favor of Bull Moose Party. And I think that was ultimately, the initial chink in the armor that eventually led to a little bit of a more snowbally game where the Icecrown Citadel Knights just found themselves in a hole and unfortunately unfortunately couldn't crawl their way out of it. The damage, I mean, we saw the damage coming out later in the game from the Kel'Thuzad. It was a little lower than what I expected, but ultimately he was landing those chains in the end game when it mattered, and we could see how much damage he could put out without even having that talent online when he landed that 3-man stun bot. So let me see. I'm gonna see if I can get an interview with. I gotta make sure I know who the captain. I think it's Toastmonster. So let me see if I think Toastmonster is the captain for the side of the Bull Moose Party. So I'm gonna see if they are interested in doing an interview, or maybe they'll elect to just get ready for their playoffs. But with that win, Bull Moose Party for sure is going to end their season 4-6. They will be in playoffs. They are going to have now probably a little bit of a higher seed than coming in at eighth place, which is what they were in coming into this series. So that's going to help them out. Get a little more favorable matchup for them in the game in their first round, the quarterfinals of playoffs, instead of having, I believe right now the number one is the Core Bouncers, and they've shown that they're a pretty tough force to go against too. So I'd be pretty relieved not to have to go up against them. Okay, so Toastmaster says he will be able to do an interview. So let me find a good lobby to do this in. And we'll see if we can get this interview in here. But yeah, I ultimately liked what I saw coming out of the side of Bull Moose Party. I hadn't had to this is my first time getting to cast them, so I think they showed some good coordination for their team, a little bit better than what I was expecting for an eighth seeded team. So they're not eighth seeded anymore, but so I expect with that level of coordination and execution that they were able to have, that they should be able to cause a bit of a ruckus in this playoffs, and be one of those maybe dark horse teams that can take down some of those top tier teams and give them a run for their money. I really liked what I saw. Oh,
Hey, how's it going?
hello, is this Toast Monster?
Night night.
Oh, this is Night Night. This is the support player
Thank
for
you.
the Bull Moose Party. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks. Yeah, felt
Uh,
good.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty handily. I want to start off with that first game. That second, what was going through the team's mind on that second Immortal, the Frost Immortal, where it looked like it was just going to be a little bit of a standard push with just getting the bottom four, and suddenly it turned into getting almost the core completely destroyed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we just got, I think with all the CC that we drafted, we got some. We were able to scare them off a little bit, and we just were able to push farther than we thought we would. Um, so I don't know. I think it was just the way they responded to us. They were kind of because we really weren't taking a lot of damage. Like if you look at the healing stats,
Hmm.
they're pretty low.
Hmm.
So they were being very cautious, and I think it allowed us to just be a lot more aggressive than we normally would expect to be.
Was that the intent going into that push, or at what point were you guys like, you know what, let's just try and end the game here?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I mean, really, I don't know that we necessarily made like a conscious decision. We definitely were all kind of on the same page, but we just saw that there was an opportunity there, and we went in. Um, So at some point we just realized, like as we were taking down the second keep, I think that was when we said, okay, I think we can go for core. And that's the one thing that like we've really tried to do as we've gone through the NGS games, and as we've kind of improved as a team,
Hmm.
is being more aggressive in kind of going for the win on the core has been something we've really tried to focus on.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is only my first time I've gotten to see you guys play. But I was looking at it, and I was like, wow, they're doing a really good job staggering this team. And I was sitting there going, okay, this is just going to be a fort. Okay, now this is just going to be a keep wall. Okay, now this is the keep. Oh, now they're looking to end. It just kept going. I was like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm making bad call after bad call here. They just keep going, and they might end up winning it here. But um, so after that game one went from I think it was just like 1 kill to 0. There was a massive fight over the first immortal, and nobody died. So I think it was just like 1 kill, and all of a sudden that game turned 0 to 60 just like that. How did you go? What was your
Yeah.
guys' strategy going into game 3? I mean, you don't have to tell me like team strategies or anything like that, but what was going through your guys' mind after? Okay, we know that we can take them in a team fight, and we almost won a game off of one immortal. So what was going into your thought processes for game 2 on Volsky, where you didn't necessarily have the map pick?
Oh yeah. I mean, game two, I think it was um, we based it around a pretty similar team comp, right? We had a lot of hard
Yeah,
CC.
I
We
think it was the exact same team cox, except for you just
yeah, we
traded out
switched
the
out
Chromium.
Chromie for KTZ. Yeah. Um, but that's a lot of it is making sure that we have the ability to kind of scare off the enemy team. You know, if you don't ever have to really fight them because they're afraid to get close to your team, that helps a lot. Um, so I guess going in, it was just making sure that we had a good team comp that we could, that we're comfortable playing well together with, and um, after that, it's like the team fights kind of come naturally.
Yeah. So now this is your guys' season. That's I think you ended the season 4-6. You have cemented your place into the playoffs. Tell
Yeah.
me, is there any team that you're looking forward to going up against possibly again in the playoffs, or any team? Let's do one that you're looking forward to fighting possibly, and then one that you might be like, I hope we don't have to see them, but if we do, we'll be ready for them.
Well, I'm trying to think with this win as and if we win our next, our last game, if we have one more,
Oh, do you? I'm
um,
sorry. I thought this was it.
I think we might have one more flex game. I'm not sure. I could be
Okay.
wrong. Um, but this puts us against either Core Bouncers or Illa Dancing Queens, I think, for the first round, I would expect. We played Illa Dancing Queens for, I think, our first game, and that was a pretty tough one on us. I mean, it wasn't. Uh, I think they won, both of those games.
Hmm.
So it was a domination. And FC Hong Kong was also another one that we faced early on that was really tough for us. So we'd love to, now that we've kind of improved as a team, I think we'd love to go up against one of those teams again and kind of see how we stack up again. But they're kind of also scary teams to go up against. So I think that it would kind of be the same answer for both of
Yeah,
those.
I was gonna say anytime you're talking about a number one or number two, it's like I want to play them, but we're a little scared, but I think we can take them, kind of deal.
Yeah,
But
so
whole
we've
season
definitely
of
improved as a
growth.
team, and we'd love to see how we stack up again. But we're also anxious about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me, who do you think tonight was your team's MVP of the series?
I mean, I think Winter was really killing it with the macro on Zool.
Hmm.
Um, and I would also say that Sugar was doing a really good job tanking. He was in good places position wise, so that we could follow up on him.
Yeah, there were some of those fights where both of them actually had separate fights where I was like, they just will not die. Yeah, Sugar was
Yeah,
able to, taking that ultimate on a Nubrak where makes himself a lot more tanky. He could take a big beating. And then I think there's a fight on the second objective where Toastmonster, the Kel'Thuzad, got deleted, and then they all turned on the Zool, and the Zool just stood there and man moded and took all the damage and was able to turn that entire fight around.
yeah, and they both really synergize well with kind of the armor that they get from Uther, and then they both have, as they take talents later on, have really good self sustain, and so Uther's healing is a little bit lower, but they kind of have this really good synergy with him. It
Yeah,
works out well for us.
awesome, awesome. Let me end by just asking: is there any shout outs you'd like to give over Twitch?
Uh, I don't know, not that I can think of off the top of my head,
Okay,
but
awesome. Well, again, great series. Congratulations on for sure cementing yourselves a nice spot in the playoffs. Hopefully, we'll get to watch you guys advance as pretty far. I'm looking for. I said earlier, I'm thinking this could be a possible dark horse situation where, yeah, you guys are maybe one of those lower seeded teams, but don't count them out. The coordination was there. You guys looked. It was a really strong showing by you guys here, and so I expect a good, at least for sure, a really good quarterfinal series coming out. So congratulations, and this was night night from the Bull Moose Party for the interview. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so as we heard coming out from the side of Bull Moose Party, they're excited, a little maybe a little anxious, but excited for a possible rematch against FC Hong Kong or Dancing Queen, some of the top teams in the Division E bracket. I've been able to watch both of those teams, and they are fairly coordinated. But I fully expect this team, if they keep this level of coordination and are able to execute these fights as cleanly as they were doing it, and especially that long push in game one, that they'll be able to make that a great series, hopefully a game 3 series, and maybe even take a series off of one of those top tier teams and make a deep run in the playoffs. I'm going to look over real quick in Twitch chat, see if I missed anything for tonight. Don't think so. A lot of Tassadar call outs. Yep, didn't really miss anything, so I'm gonna call this one for tonight. Gonna sign off Twitch. Looking forward. I don't think I have anything else. I'm pretty much just gonna hang out and wait for a playoff series game to open up, and hopefully grab one of these Division E matchups that I've been able to cast recently and see what I can find. But that's all I got for tonight. Have a great night, everybody. I'll see you in the Nexus, and have a good night. Go watch some 49er Packer football. Take care.